Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Miracle Network's Wednesday meditation. So glad you're all here to share this time together. This week, we have Carolina Corada, who will lead us in meditation, and then we'll have 20 minutes silence. And after that, we'll open it up for sharing, and we'll end at 10:45. Over to you, Carolina.
Hello, everyone. Well, today's a day of celebration. It's a symbol, of course, but it is the International Day of Peace. Obviously, that this day is aimed at international peace and world peace and what the world talks about when it refers to peace. But it is a symbol for me to remember that peace is the motivation for studying the Course in Miracles. So I wanted to start out with that. This is on chapter 8, The Journey Back. And it says, I'll read a little bit and then we can go into meditation. It says, knowledge is not the motivation for learning this course. Peace is. This is the prerequisite for knowledge, only because those who are in conflict are not peaceful. And peace is the condition of knowledge, because it is the condition of the kingdom. Knowledge can be restored only when you meet its condition. Thus, peace is our goal while doing the curriculum of the Course in Miracles. And as many of us know, as we study the Course, we shift the goals. We want to do forgiveness, or we want to do atonement, or we want to focus on the release of guilt or the release from the judgmental mind. And yet, we mustn't lose peace as the ultimate goal. Why do we forgive? Because we choose to be in peace. Why do we work through atonement with the Holy Spirit? To aim at the attainment of peace. So this is my goal today and every day. Some of you might know, some of you might not. I wrote a book called The Discipline of Peace. And for me, peace is a discipline. Not an authoritarian discipline, but a discipline of choice. So I'd like to invite you all to look within and discover, and then we can talk about it after the silent meditation, and discover what is keeping me from, keeping you from experiencing peace, inner peace all the time. And we must be aware that this peace that the Course speaks of has nothing to do with the external peace. It has all to do with the internal peace. It has nothing to do with the conditions, the behavior, the money, not even with the health of the body. It is an inner choice. I imagine Jesus in the cross in perfect inner peace. And I think this is the lesson that he brings to us, and this is the lesson that we must follow. That peace is possible and attainable every moment as a gift of choice. And this I call the discipline of peace. As I live the day, as you live the day, what other choice could I make? Maybe it's too hot or too cold. Maybe I'm feeling guilty, or I'm having an argument, or something broke at home. What hinders my choice of peace above all this? And this is the moment to release it. I am willing, and I'm inviting you to join me to release any justification for not choosing peace as the ultimate goal, for not choosing peace over everything else, especially today in this day of celebration. So, my dear brothers and sisters, let's celebrate inner peace today. Let's take a deep breath. And as we do so, let's just invite the Holy One, the Holy Spirit, the lightful self, and in a conversation that is going to be very quiet, we go to Spirit and say, Holy One, I choose peace above all this. This is conscious, disciplined choice that I make today. Today is the first of the rest of the peaceful days that I accept. I justify only peace. Thank you for your quiet, silent teaching.
Open your eyes slowly and come back into the room. We have 18 minutes left for sharing your reflections and your questions. If you'd like to speak, raise your hand or use the reactions button at the bottom of the screen, and I'll invite you to take yourself off of mute. If you'd like to ask Carolina a question or a comment with confidentiality, put your message in the chat function at the bottom of the screen, and I'll read it out. Who'd like to share? I'll jump in there. Carolina, thank you. That was a beautiful celebration to bring to us today. Peace. It's so core to being in our right minds. And I'm wondering, when you're not at peace, what do you do?
This is where the discipline kicks in. This is why I do believe that we need to practice the discipline of peace, because the world is not a place of peace. Your mind is a place of peace. The light within is a place of peace. So we are trained to work through our hours, our minutes, our seconds in the hand of the Holy Spirit. Those of us who have trained thoroughly, then we get the experience. We know that we're not at peace, we've made a mistake. So if we let the Holy Spirit will correct the effects of that mistake and lead us back to peace. So when I'm not at peace, I know that I have made a mistake, and I choose not to feel guilty about it, but I do choose to call for help and invite the Holy Spirit in, because He is the threshold to peace. There is no possible peace in this world. The experience of peace, yes, but everything about the world is not aimed at peace. So I think it's discipline. I think we all need to be disciplined in terms of continuity, commitment, having peace as the ultimate purpose.
Thank you. Who would like to share? Please share.
I love that experience, Carolina. It was deeply, deeply peaceful experience for me. Something you said at the end of what you've just shared about the world. We cannot expect to get training or help for this from the world. And I feel that, to the extent that we believe in materiality and physicality, there seems to be more of an invitation to do rather than to be. And that, for me, is the essence of that discipline, shifting from the invitation to do to the invitation to be. And so it's so automatic that we think we've got bodies, we think we're in a body, in a material world. So doing seems, in terms of the world, doing seems to be a lot more obvious activity than being. But in fact, at a deep level, it's being we need to pay our attention to. And a being comes from a completely peaceful place, and doing comes from obligation, attachments, and ego. So that's the shift to me, to always rest in being rather than have a blind attachment to doing. That's what I wanted to say.
Thank you, Rod. That was wonderful. That was Rod Friend. He's in Spain, along with his wife, Alice Friend, because only Alice's name is on the Zoom view. I want to add to that. that just very recently, the beginning around February, March, I had a near-death experience, which was quite a challenge to experience peace. I was rushed to the hospital and yeah, almost left the body aside. And while I was at the ER room, I was in prayer. I was by myself. Nobody from my family was in the same city. And I was stripped naked and plugged with all these things, you know. I was just there. And then an experience of overwhelming joy and gratitude and peace took over me. And then I thought, wow, I did prioritize peace. And I was there for a whole week struggling, you know, to get back into shape. But the peace was there, the glow was there. And then I came out of that experience knowing, I mean, I guess I already knew, but with the confirmation that inside, in my mind, I had put peace as my priority, and it gave fruit. It rendered the experience such an extreme experience. And so that gave me the reference, and this is just, I'm sharing this just to trigger this within you, because the body is something that everybody struggles with. And death is a fear, like Rod, you said so many things, and I think fear hinders the experience of peace as well. Because you said, I'm going to be at peace even if I'm on my deathbed. Yes, please. Yes. This is the challenge. This is the moment. Just to choose peace above all this and call on your helper, your Holy Spirit, so you can have that experience and know that this is who you are. This is yourself.
John, take yourself off mute.
Hi, thank you. Yes, thank you, Carolina. That was lovely. And yeah, your share really triggered a memory that I had recently that Annie and I both had. We were together. And I shared it with Dan and Teresa, but it was an exquisite experience of that piece. And it was we were driving down the road coming back into Mahaka along the motorway there. And there was a bunch of police on the other side of the bank, and they were, I don't know, they were pulling cars in, whatever. Anyway, I was alongside this very big lorry. I just happened to be alongside a very big lorry. And I was, you know, doing the speed, within the speed limit and everything. And this lorry driver, I think, panicked, and he swerved over towards me. And I can honestly tell you that I let go. Me, John, let go. And the peace I felt was extraordinary. And what happened in the level of form was I did about 4 maneuvers. I almost like an F1 driver. I put the wheel to the left to avoid the lorry hitting me. And then just before hitting the barrier, I had to go right again. And then I had to, just to avoid hitting the lorry, I had to go to left again to the barrier and then right again there. But the point I'm making is that as this was going on, I was in this intense experience of peace that you're talking about. It was just quite incredible. And it was a knowing that I was not that, you know, it was an amazing, amazing thing. And I've had it once before in my life when I was held up with armed robbers. I felt this exquisite peace. So I know it's when I let go of belief in the body. And also, one of the things that, you know, I've learned is that obviously peace is my natural state, everybody's natural state. Joy is their natural state. And what I've learned is I don't ask the Holy Spirit to do anything for me anymore. I thank the Holy Spirit for having done it. And I found that makes such a massive difference, because in the mind, it's done, and there is no past or future as far as the mind is concerned. There is only the present. So for me, the biggest prayer that I do is prayer of thanks and gratitude for having done it already, having received it already, having removed it, or whatever it is I think I want or need. It's a great thing that I found very powerful, is to let go of the asking for it and instead replace it with gratitude for having received it. And then, of course, that brings about the experience. So yeah, thank you. But yeah, I mean, peace is who we are, isn't it? It's wonderful. So there's nothing we have to do to get it. It's already there. All we have to do is to remember it. So thank you so much, Caroline.
Thank you. I do believe that the conversation with the Holy Spirit is the conversation with yourself. We all begin with an asking, and then that moves on to just into the joining. Yeah, you know that chapter from the course, chapter 30, that says rules for making decisions. I'm not sure if that's the way it's said in English. I don't have my English book with me, but chapter 30 speaks about that. Exactly. How are you experiencing your day? Are you experiencing it by yourself and trying to be at peace, or are you hand in hand with the Holy Spirit in complete surrender, honesty, and humbleness, and allowing that to be the guiding light, not necessarily in front of you, but through you, with you. So, yeah.
Alda, would you like to share?
I'd love to. Thank you. Thank you, Carolina. That was lovely, lovely. It's what the last caller, I'm sorry, I didn't get the name, the gentleman who just spoke, he just brought to mind something I'd like to share as well about the peace of God. I was in a group and I was so excited about sharing something with them. But the two ladies invited me to to a little tea in a restaurant, and we sat there. But I was excited because I thought they were going to share something that I was a gift that I was planning to do at the Christmas time. But they brought this meeting together because they wanted to let me know that my words had offended someone. This is many, many years pre A Course in Miracles. And I mean, I was the expectation that everything was going to be lovely during this conversation, and then the issue was not what I believed was going to happen. I turned into a mush. I was crying uncontrollably, you know, the dirty cry, the yucky stuff coming from the nose, the trembling, everything was just like a 2-year-old not getting her own way. That's what it felt like. And then all of a sudden, the peace of God just surrounded me. It was one of the most beautiful moments in my life where the crying stopped. I mean, it's something that I could not do naturally. I couldn't just turn it off. But in that moment, the forgiveness, the love of God just literally completely calmed me down and transformed the situation for me. So thank you for letting me share that as well. Thank you.
Would like to share? Norman, and then Dennis.
Excuse me. Mine is a rather more mundane. I thought I've got the plumber in putting gas in, and the phone rang twice, and I thought I picked a bad day for peace. But as it turned out, I took myself off the video, and I was 2 phone calls, as I say. And after that, then I settled back down into the meditation, and I felt that the Holy Spirit was saying, "Don't worry about anything, Norman. that phone call has put that man's mind at rest, and the other one has put his mind at rest, and they'll be at peace now. So you just settle back and go back into peace again. And it's strange that, that because of all the noise, there's myself and two others helped in a bit of peace. So, and thank you all very, very much. As I said, it might seem small, but it's big to me. Thank you all.
Okay, and Dennis?
Many moons ago, I read a saying, it's probably by that famous person called Anon. Better than 1,000 words is one word that brings peace. The peace I found when I have found oneness. The problem I have found is trying to stay there. Thank you.
Staying in peace has to do with the discipline of your own mind. It's like when we are changing habits, we're going from conflict to peace. So there is a choice that has to happen over and over until it becomes natural. And then nothing that the conflict offers is interesting to you anymore. So you've made the choice. You've made the transition.
Thank you.
Okay, we've come to the end of our time together. Take yourself off of mute and express your appreciation to Carolina.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Carolina.
Thank you,
Carolina.
Thank you, Carolina.
Thank you so much.
Celebrate peace.
Lots of love. Yes. Peace. Bye, beautiful people.